Hi everybody, it's good to see you again. Oni and I are together today to take you to some place that's really special. We're right here, right across the street from the Municipal Hall, and we're going into the historical house of Ma'am Cora Relova. Come on and join us as we head on in there. Ma'am Cora! Hi!
How are you?
Wonderful, great. It's so
Nice
good
to see you again. Hi, Oni. Nice
Hello.
to see you again.
Yeah.
Okay, come in.
Sure.
Come in, come on.
All right, thank you.
Hi. Let's go. You know the house anyway.
Oh yeah, I love this place. And my goodness, every time I come here, I just want to stop and look at everything that you've got.
Okay.
Well, today we've joined Miss Cora Relova because she's an integral part of what's going on right here in Pila, Laguna.
Okay.
Cora, you started the Historical Society, right?
I'm a co-founder of the Pila Historical Society Foundation. We started in 1993.
93.
93.
Oh
So
my-
we are a foundation. We are registered with the Securities and Exchange Commission, and you know we are also what they call this NGO, non-governmental organization,
Like we are.
like you are.
Exactly, like we
So,
are.
okay.
Well, I've learned just enough to know that there's some really exciting things that we have here in Pila. What are a couple of the things that in your mind are like most exciting about the history of Pila?
Well, Pila is an ancient town. It is at least 1,000 or more years old, which is the common mistake of every town here is they say, oh, like the town is 400 years old, but they're basing it on, for example, like Pila, they're basing it on the foundation of the church.
Ah.
Because the Spaniards arrived here in 1571, and then I think in 1581 the church was established, the parish.
So that's what they consider the beginning date.
So they count the arrival of the Spaniards as the formation of the town, which is really wrong.
I got it.
Because Pila has been a bayan, a town, before the Spaniards arrived, hundreds of years before they arrived.
Well, I have some idea. How do we know that Pila is older than that?
Okay, the only document found in the Philippines,
In all the Philippines?
Yes, I don't know if you're familiar with the Laguna copper plate. It is a document of payment of a debt, but it's in form of payment in front of a court. It's like a receipt,
Okay.
but made of copper.
Uh-huh.
And it was found in the Lumbang River. It's a long story, but it was deciphered by Dr. Anton Posma because he found it in the National Museum. And the year is 900 AD. And it already mentions Pila, and the old name was Paila. P-A-I-L-A-H, Paila.
Paila.
Now, why did it become Pila? Because after so many years, the diphthong, I wrote it down somewhere, the diphthong becomes, I give you an example, the diphthong AI became EI. E or I. For example, Tagalog word baywang, naging baywang, naging bewang. Baynat, naging binat. Binat yung may sakit, di ba? Tainga, naging tenga. Tapos kailan, K-A-I-L-A-N, naging kelan, K-E-L-A-N. So, we're very sure that the Pila, that copper plate document is Pila, and it's already 980. But this is a higher court, of a payment of this lady who owed debt in the amount of $18,000 US in gold.
That's a lot in that day.
That's a lot of that day. Lady Angkatan, so it's in front of the ruler of Pila, which is the Yadewa, the ruler of Tondo. I mean, it's a proper place. It's like a receipt when the president of the Philippines, something like that. So there's already a culture. The culture is already very high.
Yeah.
And it cannot have been developed, it's 980. It could have been developed only in 780. So it's beyond. So that is the common mistake. Pila is celebrating Pila 430 years. It's a parish.
Yeah. So, and I think, and I've also learned that
And then also
they traded with. We even have some proof of their
and
trading.
also
and-
we were already trading with the Chinese before the Spaniards arrived, and these were excavated pieces in Pinagbayanan.
Okay, so they're excavated out in
Yeah,
Pinagbayanan,
yes.
which is exactly where we're building our.
Pinagbayanan is the oldest settlement of Pila. That's why the word Pinagbayanan, where the former town or Pinag is, the town before the town after. So the settlers of Pinagbayanan, they were already doing commerce with first there were Indian commerce with the Indians, and then they were all Indian as in India, and then of course the Chinese. These are all Chinese pieces, 12th to 14th century.
Oh my goodness.
So these were excavated there when they bury the dead. The way they bury the dead, showing you it. Okay, this is the way they bury the dead. They wrap them in blankets.
Now these are the Pinagbayanans.
Yeah,
the people in
Pinagbayanan.
They bury their dead.
The old ancestors.
And
then they get all the most exquisite pieces owned by the dead person, and they get buried with her. So when they do the excavation, they find all this plus skeletons.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And they found that in the dig, the
Yeah,
archaeological
they were
dig. What
doing-
year was that? When did they do the dig?
Around, it was in the 60s.
In the
around
60s?
Late 60s, there were two excavations, one by Manda Elizalde Eso, and then the Locsin Foundation, Leandro Locsin and the wife Cecile Locsin.
And we can find all these pieces in the museum here, right?
The ones in the museum here are the ones donated by Elizalde, Manda Elizalde. He donated about 200 pieces.
Oh wow.
And he even donated a museum, but the museum was removed. It was in the plaza, so it wasn't located nicely, and then it was neglected. So all these pieces were moved to the old school called Escuela Pia. That was part of it was a catechism school of the church before.
Okay.
But I guess when the Americans came, it went to the local government.
Well, I'm surprised they survived a lot of different things. Now, how many, this home, this ancestral home that you have here,
Yeah.
this is dated about when?
This is like late 20s, maybe 1929, 1930. No, but I don't know. My mother doesn't remember.
Okay, but this was from the war times, right?
No,
right
this is
before
already,
the war.
This is American period.
This is the American
the
period.
houses in Pila were built during the American period. That's why we have plumbing, we have electricity. The old Pila, as you know, from Pinagbayanan, the ruler of Pinagbayanan bought another area from another datu, they call them datu, with gold, and they moved to Pagalangan, which is an area now in Victoria.
Okay.
Because Victoria was part of Pila before,
Oh.
and they separated last, I think, 1949, 1950. But the second settlement was in Pagalangan. Pagalangan means a place of worship, paggalang. So that is where the Spaniards found them. You know, because the Spaniards came to the Philippines in 1521.
1521.
So, so 50 years after, when they were already in Manila, I guess they said, hey, let's cross the bay and find out what's across the bay. So they found Pila and the other towns of Laguna.
They came right across the bay.
Of course, when they came across the bay, they came to this settlement, the second settlement in Pagalangan. And then they found the people there to be of, you know, high intelligence. The customs and traditions were like, they were, wow, you know, what did we find? So Pila, during the Spanish colonization, there were only 8 towns in the whole country. In the 300 years of Spanish colonization, this was considered noble.
Ah.
And that Pila was one of
Pila was a noble city.
a noble, yeah, a villa. It was a noble
villa.
town, considered noble because of the. I wrote it down because I might make a mistake. Okay. Because Pila, the noble towns, those who possess extensive territory, influence, and population, and hospitable to the conquerors, and it also depends on the gentility and nobility of the customs and traditions of the inhabitants. Hard to memorize. Okay, so the other towns that were declared noble were Cebu, and then Libon in Albay, and then we have Bigan, and then you have Arevalo in Iloilo, Pila, Tayabas, Quezon, and then Bacolor, Pampanga, and the last one was Lipa.
Wow.
And
Pila
that's
was
it.
one of those 8 noble
the 4
towns.
noble towns.
So let me ask you a question.
So that's why we were given a title, La Noble Villa de Pila, the noble town of Pila.
So let me ask you a question. A thought came to me. So if the Spaniards came across the bay to discover this, it's very likely that they encountered the Bulusucan River.
No.
No?
Because they were there in Pagalangan,
In Victoria.
Victoria. I guess this became part of, you know, they started owning everything.
Everything.
So,
Okay.
yeah, but part of the Bulusucan River, okay, from Victoria, from Pagalangan, in the, like, around 1790, because the town was always submerged in water during the rainy season. So 6 months of the year, it was flooded. So according to my historian cousins, there was cholera, dysentery, crocodiles, alligators swimming, I guess. So they decided to move the town. It was proposed by my ancestors. My ancestor, actually 3 brothers, Felizardo the eldest, Miguel, and Rafael, that the town be moved here to the higher ground. This was their hacienda. It was called Hacienda Santa Clara.
Hacienda, yeah.
Hacienda, which the Bulusucan River was a part of. That's why they have properties in
So the rich people were all over in this area.
No, nobody was here yet. It was
when they moved the hacienda here.
when they moved the hacienda here. No, it was just the town center first. I think
just the town center. Okay.
They were all here,
They were
and I
all
guess they moved out.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe when Pinagbayanan moved to Pagalangan, maybe some people did not want to move. Maybe they stayed. I don't know. But usually, if you're under one datu, you're the head. All of you will
Everybody
go.
goes with you.
Okay. So, and then they finally, after 10 years of wrangling, because some did not want. You know, there was a pros and cons. The 3 brothers won because the priest said and the governor said move. So they moved here, and my ancestor, Felizardo Rivera, who is like my direct ancestor, so he did the town planning. So the town planning is a perfect example of Spanish colonial town planning. And what is great about Pila is it is intact. So our plaza is the perfect example. And I don't know if you can find another town like this in the whole Philippines.
Oh my goodness.
Okay?
Wow.
So, and this is his signature.
So what we're looking at right here is a facsimile. It's not the original, but it's a facsimile of the original printing that was done of the translation between Spanish and Tagalog. What needs to be understood and what's really important is that this was done right here in this area. This was done in 1613. Notice it says in La Noble Villa de Pila. All right, so it was done right here. And as you look inside of this, I mean, it's just amazing. Ma'am Cora has shown us how each one of these, they show us in great detail. There's the Filipino version and the Spanish version, the Filipino sentence and the Spanish. So as you would study this very detailed, huge work, you would understand things in great depth. By studying this page, William Henry Scott said that you'll learn so much about the Philippine technology, the pre-Hispanic Philippine technology. You will learn about the agriculture, the seedlings, fishing, industry, textile, carpentry, metallurgy, all the things, everything about historic Philippines is translated right here.
The priest, actually, Father San Buenaventura, Pedro San Buenaventura, he researched and he learned the language, then he researched for this book for 10 years. But they arrived in 1571, so that is really the language. So he studied in the area where the purest Tagalog was spoken. So it's all here in this book. The first printing press was established in the University of Santo Tomas in Manila. I think they still have the printing press. This is there. And this is the way they do it. Can you imagine?
Oh yeah.
It's by typeset.
One letter at a time.
One letter at a time.
Yeah.
So the second printing press was here in Pila with the Franciscans. Actually, my cousin Luciano Santiago wrote it in his research. So without Luciano Santiago, no Pila. No, we won't be any nothing will happen here. Honestly. So we owe him a lot. Okay, actually this house was built by my grandmother, Corazon Rivera. So this is a Rivera house, Corazon Rivera house. It happens that I'm Corazon Relova, but it is not a Relova house. Actually, it's in the brochure I gave you. All the houses are there with the numbers, and it says the original owners of the house are all written there. So, and hopefully with our Bulusukan River, if it's going to be revived, because it's the only river remaining in Pila.
Yeah. Well, we're going to do our part.
Yeah.
We're going to do our part to create some current history by building that wooden boat workshop out there.
Yeah.
Bring the youth in, get them on the river, get them to learn about the river, get them to learn about ecology and how to take care of things, and to bring that home and even do a little bit better job of keeping their town, this beautiful town, clean.
Yes, because also, the land in Pila is so fertile.
Oh.
We're so lucky. We have fertile soil, we have water.
Yeah.
That is really the commodity that will be so precious in the years to come. So we're still very lucky, and it's peaceful, very peaceful, and the people are very nice.
They're wonderful.
They're wonderful. I mean, really. So that's it's really, that's why it was called a blessed town.
Yeah.
Pila is like a Bayang Pinagpala.
Bayang Pinagpala.
It was actually a coined word by Professor Roger Lota when the church, the parish became 400 years. They celebrated that. So the celebration of the town goes along with the parish. So maybe we can change that later.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
your time and
Thank
effort,
you.
man. We appreciate
So
it.
I hope you learned something.
We learned it. We are going to come back and we're going to learn more. You can count on that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.